Hello and welcome folks to Agathos Flight School. Today we will have a look at common errors in landing approaches, especially what it looks like when you're off to the right or left of the runway, or how it looks like when you are coming in too high or too low. The first thing we are looking at is what it looks like if you're off to the left or right. In the middle of the screen you will see a good approach where the center line is correctly approach, and in the top left corner and in the bottom right corner you will see how it looks if you're off. Just compare how it looks so you can immediately identify it if you're off to the left or right. If you notice that you're off from the center line to the left or right, immediately take corrective action by intercepting the center line. Do it early enough and in front of the airfield so that you have enough maneuvering room left to be in a stable final approach along the center line. As you can see here in this video, I intercept the center line at an angle of about 30 degrees, and this is far out in front of the runway, so I can turn back to the left and have a stable and good approach on final. I flare out and land safely. In the next part, let's take a look how it looks like if you're coming in too low or too high. For a comparison, I have done the same as for the left-right demonstration. You will see picture-in-picture. In the center screen you will see the good approach. In the top left you will see how it looks like if you're coming in too low, and in the bottom right you will see how it looks if you're coming in too high. Now the first thing we will take corrective action is the low approach, so let's make that part full screen. You will normally identify that you are coming in too low when you have either the feeling that you have to pull back on the stick to reach the runway threshold, or the runway threshold is moving up in your field of vision. To correct a too low approach you have to throttle up. Also you might have to change your glide angle and flatten it out. The later you correct, the more throttle you will need and the flatter your approach will be, which in the case of the flare will mean you have to correct for more engine torque that is missing when you're pulling back much of the throttle. And so I advise to correct early, because with small corrections your final approach should be much more stable and the flare should be much better. Now let's look at the last error in this video, coming in too high. You will notice that you're coming in too high when you either have the feeling that you have to dive towards the runway threshold and therefore coming in too fast and above your good approach speed, or if the runway threshold at your correct speed and correct glide angle is moving down in your field of vision. Correct this early by reducing or cutting throttle completely. If you notice this isn't enough, you can also side slip the plane. I demonstrate this here in my approach. Just remember, if you're side slipping in, that you end the side slip early enough so that you have a stable and good final approach and can flare out easily. So guys, this was my video on common errors in landing approaches. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. See you here again at Agathos Flight School in the future. Thanks!